Hello out there YouTube, what's going on guys? It is DDUNN here, the most chill COD player, bringing you guys some more Infinite Warfare beta gameplay. In this gameplay I managed to drop 52 kills playing on the fan favorite terminal using the Evo RPR I believe it's called. Basically it's the Ripper, and by far it was my favorite gun to use in the beta. Hard to say if it is the best gun. I know a lot of people have unlocked the Ripper Elite or Legendary variant of this gun and have had a lot of success with it, and they find it to be probably the best gun in the game, which I'm happy about. I think that having the best gun in the game be an SMG is really good for the pace and the flow of Call of Duty. Call of Duty for me has always been all about pushing the pace, being a fast, action-packed, arcade style shooter, and I think having really strong SMGs in the game kind of brings that to light. And especially coming from Infinity Ward after a game like Ghosts, where depending on the lobby you got into could be quite slow, especially regarding the maps. It's really good to see that they've paid attention to what the community had to say, and they're really pushing the pace. So the beta is obviously wrapping up. I have a couple more gameplays to bring out for you guys, but as far as today, I just wanted to briefly talk about the gameplay, and then also I wanted to just kind of talk about some positives and negatives that I took away from the beta, and get your guys' input as well. As always, feel free to leave some comments down in the comments section. I'm always open to talk about Call of Duty. It is one of my favorite things to do, and this is my outlet to do that. So by all means, voice your opinions. Even if you disagree, I do not mind. I'm a grown man, and you will not hurt my feelings by not agreeing with me. So without further ado, let's talk, like I said, a little bit about the gameplay. So like I said, I'm using the Evo here, the RPR. I use it mainly in submachine gun mode, but you can use it in assault rifle mode. Either mode is really good. I would say that the assault rifle mode lacks compared to the other assault rifles, but it does add a lot of versatility to the weapon, which I really like. It's not the best, but it is pretty good. As far as my perks and attachments, I'm using quick draw, grip, extended mags, and suppressor to kind of stay stealthy. I'm using Ghost along with Hardline, and then I believe Marksman. So I know that this is just the beta. We don't have a whole lot of testing to do, but it does feel like at long distance gunfights, even though the description of Marksman says that the bonus for your view kick when you're getting shot is negligible on any gun other than a sniper rifle, I still feel like it really helps at long distance gunfights. So I still like to use it just because I want to have the best chance to win every gunfight in every situation, and I feel like Marksman does that for me. Like I said, quick draw grip, suppressor, and extended mags. If you do use the assault rifle variant, it automatically comes with a little red dot sight, so you don't really need a reticle. And on the submachine gun mode, the iron sights are really clear. I've also was in this gameplay testing out the new specialist or rig that I had just unlocked, and this is the sniper rifle that comes with it. It's basically an auto-aim sniper rifle, so as long as you get your target within those 3 dots and pull the trigger, there is a very short charge time, so you can get caught off guard and lose your target. And here I was kind of camping it up, trying to get my score streaks here at the end of the round, and unfortunately I ended up getting picked off this head glitch right there by an actual sniper. But all in all, it is pretty good. Not in this gameplay, but in another one, I do pick up a bunch of quick kills and even kill someone through the smoke. So it's a very powerful, some pretty easy kills, but it does have its downsides. It's not very good at short range, and there is that delay, kind of like the Tempest, but not quite as bad. So overall, pretty good setup. I did have success. Unfortunately, you will notice I only get 1 or 2 streaks in this entire game, because my lowest score streak was the Warden. I was going for the big hitter, I was going for the home run, I'm shooting for that 100 kill game. As you guys know I like to do, I like to drop 100 bombs or just high kill games in general, so I was really shooting for that, and unfortunately I fell short of my second streak like 2 or 3 times. Died just a couple kills off both times, so that was really unfortunate, but I did pick up a couple Wardens, which is pretty good without having that UAV and that counter UAV and the other score streaks before it to kind of gain you that momentum. So that's pretty much it for the gameplay. I just kind of wanted to get you guys a feel of what you're watching here in the background, and like I said, I want to touch base a little bit here in these last 5 minutes or so about some positives and negative takeaways from the beta, because I know, ever since the trailer launched, a lot of people find it really fun, and it's kind of the trendy thing to hate on the game. Like I said, I'm a grown man. I'm not going to be influenced by what other people say, especially when what they say is based off information they don't even know. When people look at the trailer for a campaign and say that the multiplayer is going to be horrible, I don't really put a whole lot of, account into that. I like to always give people the benefit of the doubt, and I always like to assume innocence. I don't think publishers and distributors are, negligent or malicious. I think they do what they think is best for the game, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And in this game, overall, I feel like they did a pretty good job. I'm very positive about this year. I think that is going to be a pretty good year for Call of Duty. Although, I wish that the movement system was not how it is. I wish that Call of Duty was back to boots on the ground. And I wish that the specialists were removed. That's not what we're dealing with right now. Call of Duty, Activision, they feel like they need to compete with games like Destiny and games like Halo and, other futuristic games, Titanfall. And so, that's what they're trying to do. Obviously, that backfired. They're working on a 3-year cycle. I would expect the next game to be back to boots on the ground, old school Call of Duty. But luckily this year we also have COD 4. But we're not talking about COD 4. We're talking about Infinite Warfare here. So bear with me, guys. I do like to kind of go off on tangents here. I'm sure you guys have noticed that. But my overall takeaway of Infinite Warfare is that it is going to be a good game. Is it a good game now? I would say it's average. But the thing, people really love to beat up a game. People really love to complain. And this is a beta. The point of a beta is to find flaws in the game so that it can be improved or fixed by the time of the final release. And, some of my biggest complaints have been the connections. The connections have not been very good at all, and they have been steadily improving, so I imagine that by the time launch comes around, connections will not be an issue in the game. I feel like they'll be pretty crispy, and you'll be hitting those, really good long-range shots, dropping people quick. A lot of people say that the time to kill is too low. I disagree. I feel like the time to kill is a lot like Ghost, where it wasn't necessarily the time to kill. When you look at the statistics of the guns, the damage, the fire rates, they weren't any different from any other Call of Duty. It was just the fact that connections were good. So once connections improve, the time to kill will be quick, but I think that's the way it should be in Call of Duty. This isn't Halo. You're not fighting to drop people in like 10 bullets and only use headshots. This is a very casual arcade shooter. You want to drop people quickly and keep the pace moving. And I think that's what Call of Duty needs, is a quick time to kill. Obviously, we don't want to play hardcore here. I had to play hardcore in Black Ops 3 because the time to kill was really inconsistent, in my opinion. And I feel like we're going to have a more consistent and quick time to kill, which I really enjoy. Other complaints that I had was the spawns. I've had some pretty questionable spawns, and the spawns sometimes don't make a whole lot of sense. I would say I am not great, but I would say I'm above average at predicting spawns, and sometimes the spawns just really don't make a whole ton of sense to me. But like I said, there's also a learning curve with that, but I think, once they have a little bit more data, the spawns will improve. Other than that, the movement system feels pretty good. It feels pretty much the same as Black Ops 3, maybe a little bit toned down. The one thing I like is that the maps do not seem to be as wall running. Wall running doesn't seem to be as prevalent in most of these maps, which I think is a very good thing, because I think wall running really disrupts the flow and slows down the pace of the game. Which brings me to some of my likes. I like the gun balance in the game. I feel like all the guns are viable. I feel like the guns provide a lot of variety in gameplay styles, whatever you want to do. And I'm kind of mixed right now on the sniping. I feel I'll probably make another video dedicated just to sniping and my thoughts on that, because I can go really one way or the other even though I'm not a sniper. But overall, I feel like having a multitude of strong guns is better than a bunch of average guns, if that makes any sense. So I think it provides gameplay variety. I feel like it provides, players with the ability to try different things and still be successful and still have fun in the game. The specialists, I feel like, have been toned down. I don't think I think the lethal ones are still strong, but they're not as game-changing as the Black Ops 3 ones, and the abilities are basically just a lot of perks from Ghost that they brought back, so I don't really have a problem with those. So overall, I feel like they're pretty good. The gun variants, like I said, we haven't unlocked anything yet, so that remains to be seen if they're going to be a huge issue, but overall, I'm looking forward to a good year of Call of Duty. I think Infinite Warfare will be nice by the time the final release of the game comes out. But like I said, I'd love to get your guys' opinions. So let me know down in the comments section. I will put the class setup here at the end of the video. And if you did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like. If you hated it, then dislike it. Leave me a comment why so I can improve my content in the future. And if you really enjoyed my content, a subscription is always appreciated. As always, I just want to thank you guys for your time and watching this video, especially if you made it this far. Again, just thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.